This is a really heavy week, guys. I feel like the bearer of bad news, not gonna lie. Hey guys, I am Milk and this is Milk Astrology, and today we're going to be doing another video like last week where I give you your weekly forecast tarot reading. You can apply your sun sign, but I just would prefer your rising sign be applied. For the elements, I'm going to be reading air signs, fire signs, earth signs, and water signs. I did most of my shuffling off camera because I just feel like last week we were shuffling most of the video, and I just really want to put more emphasis on like the readings than the shuffling. Air signs, y'all have Four of Cups, you have Four of Wands reversed, and King of Swords. So you're feeling apathetic. You're feeling Four of Cups is like you're reevaluating things that you thought that you wanted, things that you really thought you had figured out. You're kind of taking a step back and realizing, oh, things aren't actually what I wanted them to be, or things aren't actually what they should have been or what they were. And Four of Wands reverse means that you need to really take a step back and reassess what's going on around you. Are you getting the things that you want? Do you think that maybe you've been misinformed? King of Swords represents like feeling a better understanding of your circumstances, being more aware of what's actually taking place around you. And so air signs, y'all are gonna have some tension this week with the outside world. And what I mean by this is you are going to feel some, disconnect from your circumstances around you. You're not going to be that, I don't want to say thrilled, but you might be more drained than usual. You might find yourself being in situations or circumstances that just don't feel fulfilling for you anymore. It's not doing it for you anymore, and you need to really reconnect with the self and find out maybe you want something different. Maybe you want a new friend group, maybe you want a new job. But overall, you might need to really make sure that you yourself are okay and that you're good before you try to go out into the world and navigate how other people are acting, how they are feeling. Don't necessarily think that this is like a super devastating spread. I don't think you're gonna have a super rough week, but you might be a little bit more introverted than usual. And for air signs, this is kind of unusual. I feel like you guys are more social or more willing to put yourself out there or go to the party last minute. And this is kind of telling me that you need to really reconnect with yourself. I think that you maybe have made some discoveries that you weren't prepared for or that you weren't expecting, and I think it's just kind of taking you off course, and you need to really make sure that you yourself are okay. And I think you have a tendency to put so much emphasis on making sure other people are okay instead of yourself, and this is kind of reminding you that you can't give anything to anyone if you can't give anything to yourself. So this is kind of my words of wisdom for this week. This is for Libra, Aquarius, and this is for Gemini. And again, I would like you to apply your rising sign. I'm not super mad if you apply your sun sign, but I do feel like this might be more accurate if you apply a rising sign. And again, this is for my air signs. This is for Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. So yeah, overall, you just really need to reconnect with yourself this week, and you might get into some arguments with people. I think you're just feeling drained. You're feeling like, not lethargic, but you're just indifferent with a lot of things right now. And I think people who don't really understand your headspace, because you yourself aren't really understanding your headspace, especially with that Mercury retrograde energy nearing, which might affect Gemini the most. But I feel like it's going to be a situation where people are like, well, why aren't you giving me this emotion or giving me this gesture? Like, they want you to do the most and you're not able to. Like, you're not good with yourself right now. So get good with yourself. Water signs, y'all are going through it. Y'all are not having the easiest week up ahead for you. So these are some interesting cards. Now again, I would like for you to apply your rising sign, but you can also apply your sun sign. I would just prefer the rising sign. And this is for water signs, so Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. this is an interesting spread, so bear with me. I pulled the Lovers, which usually unifies like healthy, stable love and relationships and meaningful connections and, you know, just people that you really care about, people that you love. But then I pulled the Devil, and the Devil kind of emphasizes your shadow side. It emphasizes like not necessarily your inner demons, but it does emphasize your bad habits, maybe your negative tendencies, the things that you retract to or resort to when you don't know how to handle something properly. Let me pull up like the definition just to like be authentic and show you what I'm talking about. Oh my god, what is that? Oh, well, I tried. So Devil upright, yeah, shadow, self-attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality. Okay, and then for Five of Swords, this is a very intense spread. So this is talking about being a bit ruthless. This is about competition that's taken a bit further, about going above and beyond to get your way, in a sense. So I'm sensing that this week is going to be hitting your relationships, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. This is going to be impacting maybe your love life, but don't be scared. Maybe it's not your love life, maybe it's relationship dynamics with other people involved in your life. Maybe it's your coworkers, but I am sensing more of a deeper connection with these cards. I'm sensing more of like familial or intimate bonds with friends or lovers, and essentially it's almost like you're going to hit a wall with someone, and usually this is going to be a period of testing yourself. I think you might find something out, or you might feel really frustrated or really disappointed or shocked about something, and your inner demons are really going to come out. You're going to be kind of trapped with these old unhealthy habits or coping mechanisms to really get what you want, and you're going to really try to get your way here. You're going to be trying to really force this issue, and I think the thing to keep in mind is making sure this week that you're doing what's healthy for you, please. Like not resorting to something destructive because you're feeling upset about a circumstance or a situation. Make sure that you're doing what is good for you, because I think especially with these relationships, you are natural givers. You want to sacrifice yourself for a person or a cause that you believe in. But if you're not careful, you could really end up in a situation where you are becoming the toxic friend or the toxic lover for someone else. On the flip side, you could also be in a situation where you're identifying with the fact that maybe this situation isn't healthy for you. Maybe if a person is bringing out a negative side of you, and you have to ask yourself if this is a connection that is really worth it for you. Like, are you able to get out of this situation? Do you feel safe not being involved? I mean, it could be family, so like that might be a harder issue for you, but I think the best advice here is to definitely make sure that you are being healthy. Like, and I don't mean like eating vegetables and running on a treadmill, but sure, if that's what you feel is healthy, do that. But I think that you need to really make sure that you are being careful with your mind, like the thoughts that you have. I think it's very easy when we put a lot of faith and trust in people and we feel discouraged or disappointed by them. It's easy to go back into like this very dark space, but you need to ask yourself if this relationship dynamic is something that you want, if it's healthy, if it's making you happy, if it's worth pushing through all of this to get to this. But you need to also make sure that you are okay. And I think reacting slower to circumstances might help you right now, especially if it's a relationship, maybe not letting your anger get the best of you. But again, this is going to be a week where you might really have to reestablish boundaries and maybe even reassess relationships in your life, because I don't think that whatever dynamic is going to take place for you is something that brings out the best in you, and that's something that you need to really face and ask yourself if it's worth it. For earth signs, yours might not be as heavy as water right now, but it's still gonna be intense. So for earth signs, you have Nine of Swords reversed. You're feeling isolated. There's feelings of fear or anxiety that are resurfacing under certain circumstances, and you might not know why you're feeling this way. It might feel something that, it might even be something that you feel is like out of your control. And Eight of Swords here is telling me that not only are you feeling a lot of paranoia and anxiety with Nine of Swords reversed, but you're also really feeding into it. I think you're really just being really hard on yourself, being really negative. I think something takes place this week where you're blaming yourself. It's almost like something that maybe isn't even your fault. And I'm thinking maybe it's like a circumstance at work, or it's something that just it has nothing maybe even to do with you. I just think that you're really taking it on as your own burden when it isn't. And then I have Justice here. So the situation is going to fix itself. You're going to get a sense of relief from this, and I think you're going to get a sense of healing. But I think that this is going to really jolt you, because this is something that you might have even felt like you've gotten over. Maybe it was a breakup, and maybe you bump into your ex this week, or maybe you are being hit with a lot of heavy feelings from the past that you thought that you've buried, and I think you're really letting it become this like monster in your headspace. And I think it's really important to remind yourself, like, the mind is a powerful thing. And I'm not saying this in the sense of curing your depression. I know that it's not that easy, but I'm just saying, like, in the sense of letting your fear overcome your entire body. The mind is so powerful. So if you continue to perpetuate these like harsh words or sentiments to yourself, or telling yourself you're not good enough, or just being really like negative with your body, with you, I think it's hard to see anything else. So I think you just need to be really mindful with that, because you're going through a sense of healing. There's like a journey that you're going through right now, and it's like really heavy. I think you could be in the middle of it. I don't think you're quite there yet, but something is going to be righted in this circumstance, and I think you're going to come out of this week feeling lighter. I don't think this is a situation that is going to really devastate you long term, but again, this is a heavier week mentally. You're feeling a bit more, I don't want to say reclusive, but you're feeling more introverted than usual. Maybe you want to take a step back and just be alone. Maybe you feel like being around people isn't helping you as much as you were hoping that it would. And this Justice card is telling me that things are going to balance themselves out. Whether it is a work issue, whether it is a home issue with your family, this is going to kind of come and alleviate a lot of the stress that you're dealing with. I think also something to keep in mind with Justice card here is that the truth is coming out. And this could be a truth that really like helps bring healing to the headspace that you're in. Because again, you're really just being hard on yourself. You're being really negative in your head. I think you're tearing yourself apart, and it's not getting you anywhere. Like, I just think that you need to take a step back, and you need to love yourself. You need to be kinder to yourself right now, because this is a rough week ahead if all you're doing is chipping away at yourself. You need to be gentle right now, whether that's self-care, whether that is whatever can ease your mind. But I think that something is going to come to light. Maybe that's even what brings up these issues, but I think that there's a lot of opportunity for healing this week for you. So again, I know it's easier said than done, but finding a way to reconnect with yourself this week is going to get you through it. I don't think this is going to be a spread that breaks you, but I think you're feeling heavy. I think you're feeling heavier than usual, and I think that you don't know how to get out of this headspace. And I think you want to ask for help, but I think you don't. You have pride. Earth signs are very prideful, so you guys want to keep that in, and it's not helping you. It's making it worse. So maybe you need to actually put yourself out there and not be reclusive and not shut down from the world. Maybe you actually need to just reconnect with both yourself and with your community, with your family, with your loved ones. And I think you need to remind yourself, like, you are not your fears, you are not your anxieties. There's more to you than that, and you need to work through that. But you need to trust also that the truth is coming to light, and that things are going to be righted, especially wrongs. Like, things are coming out, and you need to start with yourself first before you can work on anything else. So I'm editing my video right now and I'm re-watching how I interpreted the fire sign tarot cards, but I kind of just want to pop in here because something else came to my mind when watching myself, is that you could be holding on to an idea of like maybe the past, maybe something was really good and healthy in the past with a person in your life, and I think you're keeping them in your life, or you're keeping them around because of that past connection that you had with them and that past bond that you had with them. But that might not be what's taking place now. Maybe that person changed. Maybe that person isn't healthy for you anymore. Maybe certain people in your life aren't as beneficial for you as you want them to be, or as they used to be. And instead of letting that go, I think you're scared. I think you don't want to admit that. You don't even want to come to that realization. So there could be a lot of fatigue surrounding like inner turmoil, because there's a lot of relationship dynamics or people in your life that just aren't making you 100 with yourself, and you don't want to let go of them. You don't want to do what it takes to either establish boundaries and have a healthier dynamic with them, or you just don't want to admit it to yourself. And that could be also some of the fatigue you're dealing with this week. So fire signs, again, please apply your rising. But you can apply your sun if you want to, if you feel more comfortable doing that. Fire signs are Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. I'm an Aries rising, so I'm going to be learning about this with you guys. So first we have 6 of Cups here, and this seems fine. This seems like fire signs are really nostalgic right now. Maybe they're reminiscent of their childhood. Maybe they are thinking of things in their past that most likely feel good for them. I'm assuming it's a very nostalgic feeling right now that they're going through. But then they also have 2 of Cups reversed, which means that distrust in relationship dynamics or disharmony or even breakups, although take that with a grain of salt, it's not always that serious, could be taking place this week for you. You could be having a situation where you are so nostalgic for maybe even another person, who knows, like you're nostalgic for a specific thing or idea in your head, and maybe it's not aligning with your situation right now. Maybe it's not aligning with the people that you've surrounded yourself with, or your family, or your coworkers. Maybe it's just not sitting well with you. And then we have 2 of Wands reversed, which means that you're not thinking things through right now. You're not in the right headspace, and you're not planning out things the way that you need to. You're not acting rationally. You're acting on impulse. I don't know if maybe you found out something and it's making you insecure with every other dynamic in your life, or maybe you're just projecting something that you wanted onto other people around you, but you're not in your right headspace. You're actually in the opposite of the right headspace, and you're trying to do things quickly. You're trying to do things impulsively, but you're not thinking it through. And then also you are holding on to an idea in your head that's not really healthy for you. I think you're scared of changing something around in your life. You're scared of doing something that could benefit you, and instead of going about things the right way, you're doing all of the wrong things or saying all of the wrong things. And I think it's really important that you ask yourself, what is the deeper issue? Because I think sometimes fire signs have a tendency to focus on small details because it takes away from the bigger issue, whether that's like impulsively going out with your friends last minute when you know you have work in the morning, or spending more than you should because you're feeling stressed out, or you're feeling like you need to make yourself feel better about something going on. And I think just addressing the issue head on is going to help. I don't think relationship dynamics are a really strong suit this week, and I'm also kind of getting the sense that you should probably just take some time to yourself this week. Figure out what you're going through mentally before you put so much projection or emphasis on other people, because I don't think you're going to get your answers here. You need to get your answers with yourself first. Maybe don't be super social this week. I know that's shocking for you, but I think you need to take time to really sit with yourself. Sit with these emotions, work through them. Are you healing from your childhood trauma? Like, what's going on? Are you holding on to something that you need to let go of? Is it this relationship? I just think that you need to take more time to really sit with yourself, because you're not in the right headspace, and you need to ask yourself what's going on. Whether that is taking time to read books, or taking time to treat yourself or watch Netflix, or maybe it is being around family or people that feel comforting for you. But until you figure out what's going on in your headspace, I don't think you should be trying to do everything all at once. You need to go slower, and you need to take away some of the clutter in your head, whether that's taking some workload off this week or starting with small tasks before making your way to big ones. I think you just need to heal. This is a healing week for you. Yeah, overall, that completes this video. I feel like all of these readings were very heavy. I feel like I was the bearer of bad news. Again, I really hope that you guys apply your rising sign before your sun sign. Take it with a grain of salt. Again, it's a general reading. It's not going to be the definitive answer for what will happen this week for you. I'm sure some of you won't even feel this is accurate. And I'm a beginner, so I'm not a pro yet. I'm not a pro tarot person. I've only been practicing for like a few months. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. But again, this was a very heavy reading, so I just think you should all really focus on self-care this week, because it seems like nostalgia or people or headspaces are just not where they should be right now. You guys are not 100% with yourselves right now. Overall, that completes this video. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to comment below and let me know if last week's video was accurate for you for the week. Let me know if this sounds like it's resonating, or come back later and let me know if it was accurate for you. I really like to hear this stuff. I'm learning just as much as you guys are, so I feel like anything helps. And make sure to turn the notification bell on, please, because the algorithm is messed up here and I'm trying to make this a day job. So help me out, guys. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.